Well, it was a meeting that sent shockwaves right across the world, wasn't it? As President Trump and President Zelenskyy clashed in the Oval Office ahead of crucial peace talks.
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
Yeah,
you're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
After asking the Ukrainian president to leave, President Trump delivered the final blow on Truth Social. Now, as the world grapples with a new reality, European leaders are holding crisis talks in London.
For more, we're joined by Conservative commentator Ben Ferguson, live from Houston. Good morning. What did you make of that meeting?
Look, it was a bad meeting for Zelenskyy and the people of his country. That's the part I think that was the most shocking. I mean, even the ambassador from Ukraine, she had her hands in her head like this when the meeting was taking place, because she was witnessing what a disaster this was. When you are coming to a country and they've already given you $350 billion in aid and support, and then you start wanting to dictate to them, wow, the president's made it clear this meeting is about peace and ending this war, and you do what he did, it didn't help his people. It did not help his country. I think he's on rough footing now going home. That's why he's so desperate to get a deal done in the UK, as you just showed those pictures from 10 Downing Street.
Was it an overreaction? Why did the world media see this? It felt like it was kind of a show of... I don't understand why we got to see this interaction at all.
Yeah, it was a bad move by Zelenskyy because, look, world leaders disagree a lot. I worked in the second Bush administration, and I can tell you, sometimes you don't agree with your allies. But you have a united front in front of the cameras, and then you have those very frank and blunt conversations when the cameras are gone. And I think this is where Zelenskyy, and look, he's an actor. We know that's how he got his start. He loves the cameras. He likes negotiating in front of the press. He likes the award ceremonies like you guys just talked about. Remember when they piped him in from, quote, war zone, when he did that just a couple years ago, and everyone clapped and stood with him. And he doesn't understand actual diplomacy. And so the conversation he had was a conversation that was fine to have after the cameras left. And when you try to start doing that in front of the cameras, it's just a terrible diplomacy. And this is where his country has to decide, is this still the guy that needs to be leading? Remember, they have not had elections there in quite some time.
Ben, you've got President Trump here saying to this guy who's lost, what, 1 million of his people, that Putin is innocent here, that Ukraine started the war, that Putin didn't start it, and he should wear different clothes to the White House. Do you think Trump did anything wrong here?
Look, I think, number one, when you go to the White House, you wear a suit and a tie. I don't care who you are. I don't care what country you're coming from. You would never see the leader of Australia show up, or the leader of the UK show up, or any other world leader show up not wearing a suit. So that's number one. And I do think it's very disrespectful, especially when you're asking for another $350 billion. Number two, the president's point he's been making over and over again is the same point. He wants the killing to stop. He wants innocent Ukrainians to stop being killed. He wants innocent people in Russia to stop being killed. He wants this senseless war to end. That was the whole premise of this conversation. And it was clear. Zelenskyy came in with no intent to talk about peace, wanted to stick it to the president in public. You play with fire, you get burned sometimes. And now he's desperate to bring some money back home with him. And that's why he's all over Europe. It was a terrible move. He even went on U.S. press afterwards and tried to apologize and tried to downplay it. I think Zelenskyy knew he screwed up afterwards. Certainly his advisors around him, and the ambassador knew he screwed up majorly. I don't know how he comes back from this, to be honest with you. I think it may cost him his job.
One thing we do know is that a number of world leaders, particularly in Europe, came to the defence of Zelenskyy and to Ukraine as well. So they're going to have crisis meetings now. He's over in the UK at the moment. Ben, thanks for your time. We'll continue this discussion in the next couple of days.
Always good to see you guys.